sports.
Welcome to The Playbook, where we're talking sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and we're 100% digital, 100% live, and 100% real. Let's count them down. It's The Playbook, our digital sports show. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat. We do this every Monday at 1:45 on our digital properties at R&B Philly on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat. I want to bring in my brother, Sean Bell, podcaster and sportscaster, to talk about all our biggest stories of the week. Hey, Sean.
What's up, Mina? How you feeling?
Listen, I'm coming off of COVID, okay? I'm feeling good, all right? I had the Joel Embiid strand of COVID.
Okay, I'm glad you're good though. I'm glad you're coming out feeling all right, feeling strong.
I am. I can't taste things, but thankfully I am blessed where I have a job where I can work from home. So I've been working from home this whole time. I'm officially negative, but I was waiting for that negative in order to start, talking about it. And I still can't taste things, but I'm just happy that I was vaccinated and that I caught it early. I'm very big on testing. I tested 2 weeks ago. I was negative, so I caught it, immediately when it happened, and I was able to, get it under control. And thankfully, I was able to work from home the whole time. And
you was working when you shouldn't have been working. I had to text you on Friday night, I think it was, a Saturday night, and be like, "Yo, Mina, stop sending the group chat work information. All right, go party, go drink, go do whatever you got to do in the house instead of focusing on work." And it was like, I don't know, like 11 o'clock at night.
I don't know if I'm going to party and drink. I just had COVID. So I'm kind of like in a situation where it's like, I don't even know if I want to go out because, I've been safe and, we've been doing all these things not to get COVID. And then I get it from like the most randomest place, So now it's like.
That's why I sit in the house.
Right. You be in the
house. I'm
doing
work. Put on that Netflix, put on that Hulu, that Amazon Prime.
Right. And stay in the house. All right, let's get into our Philly takes. This is where we talk about all of our top Philly stories. Big story is our Eagles. Sean, you've been preaching throughout the season that everything with the Eagles is about growth, about what we're seeing week to week, right? You want to compare week 10 to week 1. So I feel like you should be proud. Our Eagles got their second win of the week, straight win. Our first home win against the Saints this weekend, final score 40-29. Our offense is really starting to look like it's coming together. We ran for 242 yards. Our quarterback, Jalen Hurts, scored 3 touchdowns in a game. He actually becomes only the second quarterback ever with 3 touchdown runs in the past 9 seasons, and the first quarterback for the Eagles to score 3 touchdowns in a game. Even though this is incredible, Sean, how are you liking our offense, and do you think that this is what we should be getting from our quarterback?
Yeah, I like it. It's growth. It's what you want to see. They're getting better now that it's week 10. Like I said, they're getting better every week the past 4 weeks, and they're beating teams they're supposed to beat. You know what I mean? Like, Jameis Winston wasn't there, okay? So you had a quarterback that wasn't very good and didn't get good until late when the Eagles relaxed. Their 2 starting tackles were gone. Right. Their running back was gone. And I'm not saying they won just because they had injuries, but it was a game that they needed to win because they were a better team and more talented team. And that's what you want to see out of good teams. You beat who you're supposed to beat, right? Bad teams lose the teams they're supposed to beat. And so we're seeing a development from all the coaches that look good. Jalen Hurts is getting better and better. Okay, the defense changed up. Remember I ripped Gannon about how he didn't change from week 1 to week 10? Yes. Well, we finally had Darius Slay and some of those guys have some press coverage. He finally started to coach aggressively, and you're seeing that in the defense. So I like what I'm seeing all around from the squad.
What do you think about us giving up 22 points in the final quarter? Is that concerning moving forward? Because we had a very dominant game, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, it kind of looked like it was slipping away. And then Jalen Hurts really put it to rest with that last touchdown. But is that a cause for concern?
A little bit. 2 things. Nick Sirianni was on the radio this morning, and he basically said, listen, and he said it last night after the game, he started coaching soft. Not soft, but conservative. Okay, and that's what happens when you get up big. You don't, you're not coaching aggressive. You don't take any risks, and teams can get back in the game because you do that. So I think again, Sirianni will learn from this moment and say, okay, if I'm up big, your foot still has to be on the pedal throughout the game. So I think that'll be fine. And also, Trevor started to get comfortable and look better. When this team faces better quarterbacks, they can do what they want because this team doesn't have the talent on defense to stop a great quarterback from being great, if we're being honest, okay? So when they face a bad quarterback, then they can do what they want and look like they did yesterday. So, that was all on Trevor sort of looking good at certain points and then looking bad at others because he's not a very good quarterback. So he's going to be inconsistent.
Yeah. You mentioned Darius Big Play Slay. He had an incredible interception and then touchdown. Watch this.
Simeon stepping up. Pass to Sticks. Dangerous throw. Intercepted. Darius Slay. Big Play Slay has done it again.
Darius Big Play Slay. There were some talks earlier in the season that he just didn't have it anymore. What are you seeing from him?
Put some respect on my name, fam. That's what I'm seeing from him. Put some respect on my name. He said it on Twitter. Okay, like, all right, y'all not showing me the proper love that I need to get. And he's showing it on the field. Like Darius Slay is a very, very good cornerback. I mean, we really are only giving him fans were giving him hell for about a 4-week stretch last season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? Like he played good in 12 out of the 16 games last season. But those 4 games made people angry, made people feel like he wasn't a baller. Coming into this season, he's played every game at a high level, every single game. And now that he has a big splash plays, because that's all that people really see, they can say, okay, let's back off of this dude, okay? His name is Big Play Slay for a reason.
Okay, period. Okay. Period. Now, unfortunately, he was out in the second half of the game, and he's out with a concussion. We face the Giants this Sunday. How do you think that's going to impact us?
Well, he's going to go through the protocol. From what I'm reading, from what I'm seeing, it's not something huge, right? Like, I don't see him missing this game. No one has spoken about this like it was very serious. Nick Sirianni hasn't spoken about it like this is going to be a situation that lingers for a long time. So, he's going to go through protocol and go through the simple things, maybe not practice and for most of the week, but I think he'll be fine from what I'm hearing.
Yeah. Shout out to Malcolm Jenkins. It was back in his city, because he's from New Jersey. There was a lot of love there. Even though we beat his team, watch this video of just some of the guys who, used to play for the Eagles. Some of the guys just really like embracing him. There it goes. Yep.
Yeah, it's love. It's love. They were brothers. They won a Super Bowl together. That's love, man. Of course, he's gonna come back. It's not, it's not any hate here. Like Malcolm may have some problems with the front office,
right?
Okay, and how he left, but he definitely not gonna have a problem with those guys.
Yeah. So that's a good guy right there. He still does a lot of charity in the city, and people just love what he brought to the team for all those seasons. So. Shout out to him. Now, also shout out to Dallas Goedert, who is a very happy and lucky man. He's going to be our tight end for a very long time at the Philadelphia Eagles. He announced a 4-year contract extension. He was supposed to hit free agency, so he was very much up in the air. And reportedly, the deal is for $57 million, $35 million, which is guaranteed. This deal keeps Goedert in Philadelphia until the 2025 season, and it makes him the highest average paid tight end in football. Is he worth this money, Sean?
I mean, he's not top 3, top 4 tight end, but you know what I mean? Like, he's just not, if we're being honest. He's not George Kittle, Travis Kelce, Darren Waller, but he's a solid tight end that you could plug in for the next, 8 years. So it's a good investment for them, and they're signing him early. And that's going to allow Howie Roseman to do some funny things with contracts and with the cap to benefit them later on. It's one of those things where you're going to get a lot of money up front, but in year 2023, 2024, you're not going to actually get paid that much in comparison to the rest of the market. You know what I mean? So that's just why you pay these type of guys when you can pay them early.
Yeah. Someone else that, is doing amazing things for Philadelphia, Bryce Harper. He was named the 2021 National League MVP. Congratulations. That is incredible. This is his second MVP. He becomes the 32nd player in the history of Major League Baseball to get 2 MVPs. Why do we have such an amazing player and we can't get a damn win with our Phillies? What is happening, Sean? Why? I don't understand it.
Because the GM is trash. Right? Like the GM in baseball is more important than any other sport. We had Bryce Harper at MVP. Zach Wheeler, shout out to him, finished in the top 3 for Cy Young Award. So you have think about that. If the Philadelphia 76ers had an MVP and a Defensive Player of the Year, they would make the playoffs, right?
Right.
They had Joel Embiid, Ben Simmons at one point. You're going to make the playoffs.
We did have that, Sean.
But you made the playoffs, correct?
Right.
You got the 1 seed.
Right.
In baseball, you can have both those 2 things, and it means nothing. Okay, so the GM stinks in the city. They don't want to spend money to bring in more great free agents, and that's why Bryce Harper is sitting here with an MVP award on his way to a Hall of Fame career. Right. But he's sitting here like, "Hey, losers, help me out here."
Well, he didn't feel like a loser accepting this amazing accomplishment. Let's watch his speech.
Very excited. I got so many people to thank. Of course, my family and my wife. This year was tough. Starting off, getting hit in the face. It was definitely a tough couple days for me, tough couple weeks for me, trying to get back. And was able to get back. My teammates were incredible throughout the whole process of trying to get me back and things like that. And I got to thank my teammates, the city of Philadelphia, our fans, John Middleton, the whole Middleton family, my chef Dan. I never went.
There he is.
I never went to bed hungry.
That is important. Listen, you're MVP. You can't go to bed hungry.
I want to thank my chef one day. I want to thank my chef one day. Like, that's wealth. That's wealth. You need to thank your chef.
Wait, but Chef Dan is a part of the family, because why was he in the little group? Like, he's a part of the fam at this point. He was in the acceptance speech in the back. I love it.
He was cooking for them. And they say, "Hey, get over here, chef. We got a presser to do."
The way to my heart is through my stomach. Chef Dan, come over here. Let me give you a thank you. This is your MVP as much as it is mine. Now, our Sixers, unfortunately, are still struggling without Joel Embiid. He is currently in COVID protocol. They are saying that he might return this week, but we're on a long away stretch in the West Coast. I think our first home game is on Sunday. So we just, we got to win, but we got a loss this weekend as well. We lost to the Trailblazers 118-111. So what do you think is the timeline for return? Will we see him at that home game on Saturday? And what condition is he going to be in after getting over COVID? Because I am reading that he's showing signs as I was, and this is not like he's asymptomatic.
I mean, that's the problem. And you would know, like, most of the time they say, okay, 2 negative tests in 10 weeks, and 10 days, and you can get back and play. But that's if you're feeling okay. That's if you're asymptomatic. If you're having issues, and it depends from person to person, then you probably can't play. You can have, as you would know, 2 negative tests and be COVID-free and still be suffering from symptoms. Jason Tatum said he had to use he used something for his breath at about 6 months after getting COVID. He still couldn't breathe correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I know that for him, I think that was pre-vaccine being out. So that changes with having the vaccine, and Joel Embiid has it. But still, you never know what's going to happen with that issue. He may have issues breathing.
I will say that's happening to me right now. Like, I got through the fever part I got through the worst parts of COVID quick, but it still has lingering effects. And that's really, and I was vaccinated. I had both of my vaccines. I was actually due for my booster shot. So now I'm going to wait a little bit to get the booster shot, but I'm testing negative. I've been working the whole time. I did have high fevers, but that only lasted like a day or two, but I'm still having these lingering effects. I still can't taste things. I still have like this congestion in the back of my nose that isn't really bothering me. Maybe it's making me sound a little bit nasally, but it's not enough to make me test positive. So again, he's going to be coming off of these effects and he's not in condition. He's a big guy. He's been out for 2 weeks essentially, right?
Mm-hmm.
So he's not going to be in great condition and he may have some lingering effects. So we'll see how he plays. I don't expect him to come out there and play crazy, but Joel has done that. Joel has been sick and not done well and then come back and he's playing like a beast because that's his competitive nature, right?
Yeah.
But I wouldn't be mine if he doesn't come out the box like that.
But don't forget he had a knee issue when he went down with COVID.
Yeah, you're right.
So who knows? He may need an inhaler. I don't want to say that, but again, Jason Tatum had to use an inhaler. That's real. So he may not be able to breathe. He may still have knee issues. So don't expect him whenever he comes back to come out and drop 30 and 15. That's just not fair.
Right, exactly. Also not fair what we're going through with Ben Simmons. Rumors have been intensifying that we potentially could be going after James Harden. Now, there is a relationship with Daryl Morey and James. They've worked together in the past. There's a good relationship there. I think initially going into the season, I think people wanted to trade, the powers that be at the Sixers wanted to trade Ben for like a Ben kind of player. But I think with Tyrese Maxey stepping into the role that he's stepped into, I think they're now maybe open to getting people that might fill not the 1 slot, but maybe the 2 slot or the 3 slot, someone like James Harden. How likely are we to score James Harden? Because these rumors were even before we had the Ben Simmons. Damn, I can't even get excited, bro.
Stop. Like come on, that's complete nonsense. You really think James Harden? You really think James Harden for Ben Simmons is going to be a thing? Like that sounds absolutely idiotic. Okay, they're not letting up on James Harden.
We can throw in Danny Green. It would hurt.
Did you just say Danny Green?
I did.
Is that what you just told me?
Yes, I did say that. We can throw in Danny Green and Matisse Thybulle in there with Ben, okay? And a couple of, draft picks or whatever. Hello, James. Welcome to Philadelphia.
This is the problem I have with Sixer fans. They're straight pipe dreams, okay? Some type of pipe you have to be smoking to think that you're going to get James Harden for that. Brooklyn Nets, without Kyrie Irving being there, are not giving up James Harden, their second best player. No way, no how, okay? Pipe dream, not happening.
Okay. Just burst my little bubble. On that note, that's Philly Takes. You can't be positive around Sean. I just came off of COVID and this is how I get treated.
Nah, not if you're going to talk like that. Nope.
Let's get to a word from our sponsor, Borgata. Yes, I'm going to the Borgata to watch a Sixers game. It's the Playbook, our digital sports show. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat podcaster and sportscaster Sean Bell joining me. So LeBron James, you talk about I am working all the time, sending, updates and videos at 12 o'clock at night. Mr. Sean Bell last night sent me a nice little video of LeBron James. Him and his Lakers beat the Pistons yesterday, 121-116. But there was a huge fight. LeBron literally elbowed the Detroit's big man, Isaiah Stewart, and all hell broke loose. Watch this.
Comes Wayne Ellington. Well, again, the Lakers have been giving up a lot of points to stars recently. And then we saw Zach LaVine light them up, then Giannis, and then Jason Tatum. And tonight it's their number one guy, Jeremy Grant. Stewart and LeBron. Stewart is hot. And everybody's coming out now.
Now this is ridiculous. Yeah, he must have caught an elbow or something, but
oh yeah, he's got a lot of blood streaming from the side of the eye. Look, here goes Stewart.
Yeah, I think he's a little upset.
You've got coaches, you got security guys. Look at Dwayne Casey's like, just calm down. And there's Cade Cunningham also.
He was along the free throw line on the free throw, and he's still trying to get loose.
He is knocking over. I mean, he's out of the game without question.
I mean,
It's like he's running through the line. That's nuts. That's just crazy right now.
That's just crazy.
That's crazy right now.
What in the malice at the palace is going on over here? And did you hear the announcer talking to the fans? They wanted to make sure they didn't have another malice at the palace. Please stay in your seats. Do not come on the court. This was out of pocket. LeBron was thrown out the game. So was Isaiah Stewart. There were flagrant fouls all over the place. People are talking suspensions now for LeBron James. How long? What are your thoughts, Sean?
Listen, man, we gotta break this down real quick, right? Like LeBron threw an elbow intentionally, but he did not intentionally try to throw an elbow at his face. But if you intentionally throw an elbow and I start leaking, all bets are off.
Right.
Like now I got to come for the smoke. Now I'm activated. Now we got to fight. Like they originally got into each other's face. And at that point, Isaiah didn't know he was bleeding. Right. So he just thought, okay, I'm going to get LeBron's face and tell him, okay, later on in the game, I'm going to flagrant foul you.
Right.
All right. We're going to handle this thing on the court. But the more he started bleeding, the angrier he got. Then the rage got out of control. That's what happened there. LeBron said something slick when he got in his face. And then once I could taste my own blood, then it's go time. Then I have to do something. Then I had to make you taste some blood also. I mean, that's what I think basically happened. Yeah, he had a chance to get at LeBron right away, but he didn't because he didn't know he was bleeding. Right? Like quick story time. Short story, even shorter. I had a friend in high school get punched in the face. Instead of fighting back, he then walks into the bathroom, looks into the mirror to check out the damage, and then comes running out throwing a punch like he was Superman. Like he had to check the damage before he decided what type of level of punishment he was going to dole out. Like, shout out to Fletch, Seton Hall Prep. I forget what year it was. But yeah, like that's what happened with this situation. So they're both going to get suspended. I think LeBron gets 1 game. Isaiah's probably going to get more games because he kept going after him, maybe 5. But the next time Isaiah sees LeBron, it's going to be on site.
Oh no, I think LeBron needs to get suspended more than 1 game. And did you see Russell Westbrook ready to square up? Russ was like, what they needed an equal suspension because this wasn't just Isaiah retaliating. LeBron was also inciting as well after the fact.
It's LeBron James.
Yo, like, my boyfriend said the same thing. They gonna give LeBron a slap on the wrist.
It's LeBron James.
That's terrible.
The Lakers got a TNT game soon. Like, I think this week they got a TNT game. He's got to make the TNT game. Like, he's gonna be suspended 1 game. Isaiah's gonna get more because he kept trying to go after him after being cited. Maybe he only gets 2, but he's gonna get more than LeBron. So it is what it is. But I understand the reaction. The more blood you taste, the more rage you're going to get.
Right. Look, real quickly, Sean Porter. I watched this fight against Terrence Crawford. I mean, Sean Porter did his thing, held his own going into this fight. You know, people didn't see Sean Porter even going as far, doing as well as he did. But unfortunately, now Sean Porter is retiring for boxing after his loss to Terrence Crawford in this WBO title fight. Now, Sean's father, Terrence, actually had to stop the fight in the 10th round. So it was a technical knockout, on Saturday night. But, Sean Porter is retiring. Is it time? What do you think about this? He's been around for a long time and he's fought some of the greatest fighters ever.
It's up to him. You know what I mean? He's 34 years old. He's fought the best in the game. He's potential, Hall of Fame type of boxer. he has more fight in him, obviously. Like, he can go out there and make millions and fight other boxers. So, but it's on him whether he wants to retire. He's probably just not at the level as a Bud, you know what I mean, as an Ariel Spence. So at that point, you know, if he decided, like, listen, if I'm not going to fight for a championship or be the best in the sport, then what's the point of being in the sport?
Right.
You know what I mean? It's rare that boxers decide to do that. Usually they fight until they, you know, can't speak anymore. But if that's his mindset, like, yo, there's nobody left to fight. Like, I don't, you know what I mean? Then, you know, God bless.
Yeah. Well, let's get into plays this week. As I mentioned, our Eagles are taking on the Giants on Sunday. It's an away game, 1:00. This should be a W, Sean. I mean, you know, we're doing better than them in our division, and especially coming off these 2 wins and how we've been playing. This should be a W, but what are your thoughts?
I'm 9-2 in my predictions. Let me throw that out there first.
Okay.
So I'm having a pretty good season. I'm actually picking a loss.
What?
Yeah, I'm actually picking
against the Giants?
Yes.
Why would you do that?
Because this team is inconsistent, and this is what happens when teams are inconsistent. You lose to a team that you shouldn't lose to. The Eagles always do this. Every year, it's a loss in there where you're like, how do you lose that game? They haven't had one of those losses yet this season. I think it comes against the Giants because, again, they're inconsistent. Saquon Barkley's coming back for the Giants. We'll see tonight how well he plays. But if he's all going and he's playing pretty good, remember, Daniel Jones ran for an 80-yard rush one time. Right. He plays well against the Eagles for some reason, like he's a top-flight quarterback. So, I don't know.
All right, well, I have us taking a W. I'm going to be positive and put that positive energy out there. Our Sixers, I'm not so positive about that. We take on the Kings tonight, 10:00. Tobias Harris is out. He's questionable, actually, with a left hip soreness. Danny Green is out. Listen, we can send Danny in that James Harden package. Okay. I mean, Danny Green is still out. Joel is still in COVID protocol. Thankfully, we have Matisse Thybulle back from COVID protocol. So now we're just missing Joel. How are we looking as we wrap up our away kind of vacation at the West Coast? We're playing the Kings tonight. The Warriors were back at home with the Timberwolves on Saturday.
Maybe one win out of those, maybe. I mean, again,
I'm not so optimistic.
But you know it's a loss against the Warriors.
Klay Thompson's coming back. I mean, he back, you know.
Yeah. I mean, Klay's probably not back until Christmas, but it doesn't matter. They're 15-2. Yeah, it's no Tobias.
Right.
No Joel. This team isn't very good without those players. So it is what it is. They're gonna struggle big time until those guys get back healthy and right.
You're going to do a little football on Thanksgiving, Sean? Bears, Lions, Raiders, Cowboys, Bills, Saints. What are we doing here?
You already know what it is, man. All my favorite dishes. Right. You know what I mean? I'm going to have, in my home, it's going to be oxtail.
Oh, we're fancy. We're Jamaican.
Yeah. Oh, Jamaican. You know what I mean? We're going to have oxtail. All your favorite dishes we have. My mom's going to have ribs. All the things that's going to make me fat, that's what's going to be in the building. Not the traditional turkey stuff. Get that out of there. Like, that's how we rock.
Well, I'm doing Thanksgiving at my house for the first time. So pray for me. I just had COVID and now I'm doing my first Thanksgiving. So I might invite you over.
Ooh, meaning you got to clean? Who cleaning afterwards?
I'm not cleaning. I'm cooking. I'm making turkey, pernil, rice and beans, moro, mac and cheese. Okay. That
means we come into your house to get a plate and we leaving. We not staying for the cleanup.
I have to disinfect the crib.
We're not staying for the cleanup. You know what I mean?
Thank you for watching. That's the Playbook, our digital sports show every Monday at 1:45. How can they find you, Sean?
Sean Bell Live.
All right. And right here on the Playbook. All right. We'll talk to you next week. I mean to say what? Thank you. Thanks for watching The Playbook. I'm your host, Mina SayWhat, and you got something you want to talk about next week? You can always hit me up on social media at Mina SayWhat, and make sure you join us 1:45 next Monday on R&B Philly's Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. We'll see you then.